Welcome to Cosmic Roadmap. I'm your host, Melissa Lamport, Reiki Astro Geo Guide and best-selling author. Have you ever wondered where in the world you should be? This podcast is about bridging cultures and helping the endless wanderer find their purpose and place in the world. Hear stories from digital nomads, avid travelers, and aspiring globetrotters, and learn how they discovered where they were destined to be and build their legacy. If you're curious about astrogeography and where you're meant to be on the planet, go to cosmicroadmap.com to download your free passport to purpose. My special guest today is Miauwling Oei. She is a motivational storyteller, best-selling author, kundalini yoga teacher, dancer, and alignment coach. As a multi-passionate woman, she weaves the technology of kundalini yoga, the art of gratitude, sensual movement, and the law of attraction into immersive and experiential workshops. Her mission and greatest passion is to provide people with simple tools to help them get through incredibly difficult moments in their life. Her dedication and joy in her work organically manifested a breathing technique that she coined the Convergence Breathwork Method. This simple 5-minute breathing exercise helps relax the nervous system. So we met through our best-selling book that came out last year, or actually, not even a year has passed, the 21st of January, and Lineage Speaks. You can grab a copy on Amazon. The proceeds continue to go to an amazing organization, Alamu Girls. And we were one of the few authors that met in person too. We got to meet in Brooklyn for an open mic. I was so happy to meet you in person, and we've met even after that. So welcome, and thank you for being on today.
Thank you for having me, Melissa.
So how have things changed and evolved since our Astro Geo session, since the book? Because we spoke about your trip to Europe last time on the first season. And how have things changed and evolved in New York City? I know that you were mentioning a bit about Maryland this past summer. So let's dive into that.
Okay, wow, it's quite something. I felt like I hit a milestone after
Mm-hmm.
the publishing of Lineage Speaks. When I wrote the story, I knew I wanted to write a story about myself, about the reclaiming my name, as well as, why I wanted to reclaim my name, how that affected me, and how I hit rock bottom and during that attempt suicide. And what made me realize was after the book was published, I said, wow, a lot of people came back and gave me feedback, especially my friends from college, didn't realize that I was struggling, right? Because I was showing this super happy face. I was smiling. I was posting things on Facebook, and there were a lot of smiles. Of course, I didn't post myself when I was at my lowest point or
Right.
crying. I mean, that was the least. It's not like, oh, wait, let me take a picture of myself crying. So like
Yeah.
that wasn't
It
my
was very
thing.
it was very curated of,
Yes,
the happy
it's
moments. Yeah.
it was the happy moment, my best moment, especially if I was going on vacation or I was at my favorite restaurant with friends. But deep down inside, I was really struggling. And the book was a confirmation for me when my friend says, "Oh, I had no idea you were going through all this." And I was struggling too. So they thought they were alone, right? And I
Mm,
thought I was alone. Even though I had done the work, I felt like perhaps I was alone, even though people were saying I'm not alone. And I want to go back to a little bit about sometime in 2018, I believe it was 2018 when Kate Spade and Anthony Bourdain, when
yeah.
they passed, they had taken their own life. I kind of felt this jolt in my body saying, wow, my story really needs to get out
Mm,
because I want to tell everybody what the struggle feels like and that they're not alone and what the last minute feels like and it can be prevented.
mhm.
Right. So I went to a co-working space, wanting to like I had wrote something for their magazine and they said, they don't want to publish it in their magazine. And I said, why not? And they said, because you don't have enough following on Instagram. And this was 2018. And I had
Yeah.
just opened up an Instagram account. So I said, in that moment, thank goodness I had enough self esteem and dignity in me to believe that just because I didn't have the X amount of following on Instagram that, they needed, that I know that my story can help people. It doesn't mean that my story is worth any less,
Right.
regardless of the following that I have. So I took it with me and I said, this is just not the time. This is not the moment when the story needs to get out. I just kept it. I kept that story. And then when I saw the post on Facebook called Lineage Speaks, I saw the word lineage and I said, that's it. I have a story already written. I want to get it published in
Yes.
here. And I was super grateful that Bridget and Exalted Publishing House didn't say, well, how many following do you have on Instagram? Like, that
Right.
wasn't part of the requirement. And frankly, I don't understand why that should be part of it. Everybody's story is really important,
And
regardless
it
of how
and
many
is
followers you
valid.
have, and it's
Right.
valid. So when
Yeah.
that story got published and I received the feedback, I was like, yeah, I really need to continue believing in myself, regardless of what others think, how many followers I have. That should not matter at all. That helped me value myself that much more because everybody's story is unique. It shouldn't be judged through how many followers you have or
Yes.
subscribers or friends or whatever else you call them to be, right? And I did help a few people. Some people said, thank you for that story. They resonated with
Mhm.
it. And I felt great. Even if I help one person, that's good enough because it's a life.
No,
So
exactly,
I'm
and
saving a life.
yeah, and the fact that you mentioned Anthony Bourdain, I actually mention Anthony Bourdain in my story in the same book, Lineage Speaks,
Oh,
because my cousin took her life, and it was all around that same time. Anthony Bourdain was actually like a father figure to me, like, I followed him
mm,
because of all his travel stories, and I looked up to him. So, that was a huge loss for me. Like, I even wrote, like, a Facebook post commemorating him, and now, like, recently Twitch from the Ellen Show, like, taking his
yeah.
life, right? So it just makes everybody kind of look at themselves and maybe reach out to friends, right, that they haven't been checking up on. So I love that you were able to share that story, and it's inspiring others to value their life and to value, like, the abundance that's in this world, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So the energy that you have in New York, you have Saturn energy. So that's all about discipline, perseverance. So you probably have felt overworked. Like New York City already is like bustling with energy and it probably attacks you with so much energy. But in our session, I remember you saying that you've always felt like this energy of feeling overworked, right? Like you have this sense of always overachieving, right? Or always being productive. Where are you being called to and what places did you visit this past summer that you were like, "Oh my gosh, like I didn't realize that those were the feelings or the energies that I was meant to connect with."
Oh, yeah. So this summer, I had met somebody. I had
Mhm.
met this young gentleman who lives in Maryland. And I had mentioned that I wanted to move out of New York City, and I just didn't know where exactly I wanted to move. And he said, well, what does it feel like? What do you envision it to feel like so that you know that it would be the right place? So I started to tune in into myself and said, well, I wanted to just be in walkable distance to a gourmet coffee shop, probably like a yoga studio down the corner, a bookshop, a crystal shop, like
Yeah,
metaphysical kind of bookstore and
right.
that sells crystals and tarot and oracle decks. And maybe they'll have some kind of Reiki healer in there, something like that. And
Yeah.
probably like close to a park where I can hike. And he says, "Oh, I'm moving to a place like that." So I said, "Yeah?"
Well, let's
So
go.
exactly. So I said, "I want to check out this place."
Yeah.
So I went to visit him, and the place is Bel Air, Maryland. And I've,
Right.
I've never been there before. Actually, never been to Maryland. It's actually about a 3.5 hour drive from New York City. So when I got there, it's a small town, but it's
Mm.
really charming. It's bustling, it has its own busyness, but it's
Yeah.
not overwhelming. In the center of New York City, it's very glitzy and glittery, and it's almost like could be like over the top sparkly, which was what I was really into in my younger days. But as
Uh-huh.
I got older, I kind of feel like I wanted a little bit more subdued, still sparkly and glitzy and bustling, but a little bit more on the calmer side. And when I got to Bel Air, it's cute. It's like a small town where everybody knows one another. I find the town to be super friendly.
Mhm.
Right? There was, like, 2 gourmet coffee shop there. There was, one hot yoga studio, and the other one was, like, Pilates, and then there was a metaphysical store. I went in there, and I literally made friends with the 2 shop owners, like, almost immediately. They was like, "Oh,
Yes.
you're from New York," and they were giving me all these different places I can
Mhm.
actually visit in Bel Air, and I was like, "Wow, people are really, really friendly here," and I felt at home immediately. It was nice. I said, "Oh, this is really, really cool." I never thought about moving out of state, especially someplace in Maryland. I was more of the coastal side, like the East
Right.
Coast and the West
And I
Coast.
need to leave the East Coast and go to the West Coast and, like, complete
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and it
So
was interesting because when I looked at your map, you had your Venus line there, which is
mm,
Venus AC, your ascendant Venus line, and it's all about love, self-love. So,
yeah.
it's, like, almost like you felt this love within yourself and people were connecting with that energy immediately, like, they saw that love resonating from you.
Yeah, it was really nice. It was almost I was like I felt like I was in a bubble. I was in
Mm,
this nice, like, cozy bubble. Even, like, the restaurant that we went to, it was one of those, like, everyday restaurant. It was like a barbecue place, right? But the songs that were in there, it was like I was in my zone. Like, I love country music, but I haven't
uh-huh.
listened to it in a while, except if I'm driving the car, and I'm listening to it in this restaurant, and I'm just really just diving into it.
Yeah.
And it was great energy to the point where the waitress was like, "We wanna give you dessert on us." And I said, "When did that ever happen in New York City? Ever?"
Right?
And you're like,
There'll
like
probably be, like, this weird girl, she's just, like, dancing to the country
yeah.
music.
And then, like, literally the first weekend in Bel Air, the waitress
Yeah.
says, "Here, here's dessert on the house." I was
Aw.
like, "Oh, this is amazing." Yeah.
Yeah, amazing.
Venus line, sweetness, right? Dessert.
Definitely. Yeah,
Yeah.
sweetness,
Yeah.
dessert, like, just people connecting with that love energy. I actually connected with the Venus AC line when I went to Valencia recently, when I started my digital nomad journey, and I felt like I was just treating myself every day. I was eating gelato, like, every evening, like, I didn't feel like really having, like, much to eat, but by the time I would go out, I would treat myself to a gelato, maybe a massage, maybe go to the beach. Like, I was yeah, it was just, like, this self-indulgence of, I'm meant to treat myself and love myself, so, yeah, and I don't know if that was also the energy that you were feeling of just treating yourself because you deserve it.
Yeah, it was. It was like, wow, I can really immerse myself and I felt like I belong there. I can fit right in into
Yeah.
the neighborhood like easily.
Exactly. And you did mention to me LA. So you've been called to LA. When we did our session together, you had Neptune energy there. Neptune IC, so that has to do with like spiritual healing related to ancestral work. So that's been calling you and also Pluto MC. So Pluto MC has to do with transformation in the future. So there could be some transformative work around ancestral healing, something spiritual, maybe shamanic. So what is it that's calling you over there or the places that have been calling you?
When I tuned into where I wanted to move or what neighborhood or what state I want to look into,
Mm,
the West Coast continually to call me. I don't know why.
yeah,
Particularly LA. San Diego was more like beachy. So I said I'm more like a laid back, beachy type of person, which is why I thought about San Diego. I haven't been to San Diego in a long time. I've been there once. LA, I've been to a few times, and the last time I was in LA was 2017. It wasn't really a few years ago, but I felt good. As soon as I landed, I felt really nice, and I was lost. I was asking for direction. So many people gave me direction. I stayed
yeah,
at an Airbnb, and the woman was super kind. I had a workshop to go to, and she literally picked me up because it was so late. So she says, "Don't worry, you don't have a car. It's okay. You don't need the car service. It's not that far from the Airbnb. I was coming home from work so I can pick you up." And it was like super nice. I was like,
Wow.
wow, people in LA are super, super friendly. And also, I'm also health conscious. So
Mhm.
it was easy for me to be health conscious there because there were so many like health food stores that were there where I didn't have to search for it on Google or something like that. Like every other store was like a health food store, and I love that.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
where you feel, yeah, like you're surrounded by like-minded people.
Yes. Yeah.
Amazing. And I also noticed along the coast, the West Coast, you have your moon
Mhm.
AC, so it's almost feeling at home with yourself. So anywhere along the West Coast, you'd feel at home, whether it's, up in Vancouver or Seattle, and then making your way down all the way to LA. So it makes sense that you're almost being called to this home on the West Coast along the
Okay.
coast. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm excited to see, like, what will manifest. There's also a huge Kundalini community there in LA, right?
Yeah. Yes, that's
Yes.
right.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
connecting to that as well. Yeah, what Kundalini communities are you a part of?
Kundalini yoga. So
Yeah.
Rama's there. Rama's out in LA.
Okay.
If I ever moved to LA, that would be the community I would go to, would be the Rama in
Yeah,
LA. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, that was run by
By Guru Jagat,
Guru
my
Jagat,
late
who has
mentor.
passed.
Yeah.
Exactly, so yeah. Yeah, Kundalini, I do a few kriyas, but it's been so powerful for me, especially for procrastination. I do one in particular for procrastination. So, what's one of your favorite kriyas or mantras?
I do a lot of Sakriyas.
Okay.
So the Sakriyas help me pull up my energy,
Mhm.
right? Because it's really, you're sitting in rock pose, right? And
Okay.
you have your arms up like this, and then you go to
Yeah.
sat no, like this.
Yeah.
And it helps with my posture also, like just sitting
Okay.
straight up. And then having my hand up like this, this is just how I'm feeling. It's not really like
Yeah.
in the manual or anything.
Right,
Um,
right.
it made me feel like I am reaching. I'm reaching for the stars. I'm reaching for the
Mm,
sky. Always reaching for something higher, like more than, what I am right
yeah.
now. Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, the one that I do is Tapa Yog Karam Kriya, which is like for
Mm,
procrastination or productivity. And it always helps me
okay.
to like break out of whatever funk that I'm in and
Yeah.
to just go through my to-do list. But yeah, that one, like you keep your arms out and you're constantly repeating Wahe Guru.
Okay.
And yeah, so that's always like calming for my nervous system. So I love that.
Kundalini yoga actually resets or recalibrate, I should say, recalibrate your nervous system.
Yeah.
So before I did Kundalini yoga, I didn't realize that my nervous system was really I was in panic mode all the time,
Hmm.
and I didn't realize that to me, I felt calm. But then when I did Kundalini yoga, I was actually stressed out during the meditation. I was frustrated and stressed out. And I said, "Oh my gosh, I can't do this. What is going on? I'm feeling angry and like stressed." And I thought meditation and yoga is supposed to calm me down. I didn't get it. But I didn't realize that my nervous system was so used to being a certain level. So let's say I was like a level 9, right? So
Hmm.
then if I hit level 11, and I don't know if there's a level 11, if it's a 10, because I'm stretched like a rubber band already, like I'm stretched so thin, like that next, like jolt up can make me have a meltdown. And I didn't realize that because I thought at a 9, I was good.
Yeah.
I was calm. And with Kundalini yoga, it brings down the stress. But because my body was so used to being that 9, and when I did Kundalini yoga, as it's starting to come down, bringing down my nervous system, my body started to become frantic because it wants to go back to a 9. It was
It's
so
almost
used
like
to being a
it's like
9.
in withdrawal mode. Like, I wanna go
Yes,
back.
yes. Go back to
Yeah.
the 9. Why are you lowering me? I don't
Yeah.
want to go there. Yeah, so that was what was happening, and I didn't realize that because what I only feel was the stress and the irritation and the frustration, not knowing, oh, I actually have to go through this feeling first before I can calm down.
Right, right. Yeah.
So that brought down my panic mode, my I don't know what my nervous system at now is, I don't on a level from 1 to
Mm,
10, but I know that it takes me longer to have like that flip out, moments, I hear bad news, I said, "Okay, bad news. Okay, I might be upset, but I don't
you're at
flip
a like
out."
a neutral, yeah, like a neutral
Yeah.
place. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I know with meditation, that's where you're supposed to be at, right? At that neutral place
Mhm.
where you don't
Yeah.
overreact, you just
Yes.
kinda take it in and then respond from this neutral place. Oh, I love that. And then Hawaii was another place that you mentioned.
Mhm.
What's been bubbling up in Hawaii? I know that we looked at the lines that you had there, you also had moon energy. So that home
Mhm.
energy, Mercury for communication, Mars for drive, and there was healing energy. So it was Chiron MC, so it's a lot of healing for the future. So what is it that you're feeling there? Oh, and also Jupiter. You have Jupiter MC not too far from Honolulu. So Jupiter is all about abundance and ease. So healing energy and
Oh, okay.
abundance. Yeah.
So cool. So I've been looking for my next new home. That's what I wanted to call it. I wanted to call it ease. I wanted
Mm,
to just plop right into a community or a neighborhood and just feel right at home where that's where I belong. Like I don't need to show up as anything or do anything special or extra to fit in. I just want to be me and just fit in that way. And Hawaii came to mind only because I keep hearing Hawaii all the time, like a retreat that I wanted to go to. At one time, it was in Hawaii, and I had said to myself, the next time is in Hawaii again, I really want to go. And it was like
mhm.
a retreat for self healing. And then a friend of mine had mentioned perhaps Hawaii could be a place that you may want to look into to move. And then a few days ago, a friend of mine shared with me that she's moving to Hawaii. So
Wow.
I'm hearing Hawaii a lot and I'm thinking,
Yeah.
oh, this part of me is just curious about Hawaii in general.
Yeah, it's almost like the signs, they just keep on it just keeps showing up just like the
Yeah.
like the
Uh-huh.
angel numbers. It's like, "Here."
Yes.
And
Yeah.
have you ever visited in the
No,
past? Oh, so
I have not.
this would be the first time.
Mhm.
Yeah. And with that energy, yeah, you wanted to go to this healing retreat and you have healing energy there. And then the ease that you want with the Jupiter energy, it would be a perfect combination. So I do see that as a good place for you to
Oh,
manifest more healing, more ease, and also allowing you to use your voice more and tapping into your passion as well. So a really powerful place along with the energy of Hawaii, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And what is coming up for you in terms of offerings, like the work that you're doing? Because you've come up with this breathing technique. And how have you been helping people with that?
I've been offering classes in the
Mhm.
afternoon, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. It's really a mini sampler. So I
Mhm.
take somebody through the Convergence Breathwork Method. Basically, it's just basically a 5-minute healing breathwork that I take them through. And what I do is it's actually customized. So I watch them or I watch the group, as they're breathing, and I really give them what I need. It's very measured according to what I see in the group or if it's a one-on-one in that person. And I get them to lower. Basically, I'm recalibrating their nervous system in that 5 minute. There are some people who I would be a little bit more gentle or super gentle, and that's all they need to recalibrate their nervous system at that time. And then there are some people where I can be really aggressive with them so that they can recalibrate. And it's still the same 5 minutes, right? And it's basically all about having their breath held in for a
Yeah.
certain, like few seconds or something like that. And then if I see them like turning a little blue or something, they're starting to get there. Okay, I have to let them breathe out. So it's a lot of having your breath hold in because the amount of oxygen, the air that comes into the body is really, really important
Mm.
because we're not breathing enough
Forgot. We're
air.
holding our breath, yeah. Like,
Yeah,
even
yeah,
right now, as you're talking about breathing, I feel like I'm holding my breath, like, I'm constricting, like, my stomach, my lungs, and it's really about releasing and allowing your nervous system to relax, like you mentioned. And I
yeah.
experienced your breath work a few months ago, right? You were
Yes,
having
that's right.
some live do you still have them up on Facebook or
I
Instagram,
do
your
still have
live
them up.
sessions?
My
Okay,
live
so
sessions are on Facebook, and
mhm,
I also have them I put the recording on YouTube. I have my YouTube page on there, and if you look on the playlist, I'll say Convergence Breathwork Method, and then you click on that, and there's, like, a whole bunch of videos on them that
amazing.
I've taken a few people through.
And are you still offering the dancing? Like, what other offerings do you
Yeah,
have? Like,
so
how
I
can
have
people work with you?
my website, if you go to
Mhm,
my website and you look under classes, I have classes pretty much every day. So Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays are the samplings of the Convergence Breathwork Method is 20 minutes. So I
mhm,
take you from beginning to end. I explain how you're gonna feel during and after or before, and how to actually do this on your own at home. And then on Thursday, I have something a little bit more longer, so is convergence breathwork method and meditation. So the meditation is kundalini yoga,
okay.
and that one is a little bit longer. So if you want something that's not just an intro, if you want like the full like 1 hour relaxation, that would be like a Thursday afternoon. And then I believe Friday I have the dancing. So Friday I
Okay.
do it's feminine energy, and
Mhm,
it's all about honing, recognizing, having that sense of awareness of your own feminine energy that's in you. We all have it, whether we identify with female or male, we all have like that feminine energy in us and masculine. But I tend to
right.
concentrate on the female energy. And this is the energy that flows, is the yin energy, right? And this helps us be flexible. The more inflexible we are, the more we tend to just break when something difficult happens. When we're flexible, we're able to see different solutions and have
Right.
creative solutions. So that's where the whole dancing and flowing, it's a lot of body movement, and I call it
Mm,
dancing in that class. Sunday is not a class, it's more like a workshop. It's more of an intensive. It's 90 minutes, and that one I call deep love. So this is more where I have the gratitude journaling, a lot of almost like what do you need to release,
mm,
old habits, that you associate yourself with, identities that you associate with that need to be let go. And how can you take that first step? So let that go. And there's a lot of manifestation. There's a lot of law of attraction that's also in there. How can you call in perhaps your best self? Or what is it that you want to call in? Whether it's abundance in terms of money, or abundance in terms of opportunities and services. It all depends. But abundance could
right.
be anything, right?
Or
It can be also
community,
love
right.
or
Yeah,
community. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's a Sunday class. That's usually a really popular class
Mhm,
among a lot of people. People tend to like that one because of the gratitude part of it.
yes.
I realized when I started my gratitude journal in 2019, I didn't know that I was going to continue it. I still have it. Every morning I have to do it. I can't miss that at all. It feels weird. It's almost like if I miss
Yeah,
it or if I have something busy that happens, it's almost like I need to, let's say if you wake up, you have to brush your teeth, right? If you don't
right.
brush your teeth, it feels weird. So
Yeah,
it's like that. It got to that point where I sit down, I have my cup of tea or coffee, and I would just do my gratitude journaling from the day before, like all the things that happened the day
yes,
before that I am so grateful about. I write them down, including the ones that are not pleasant, because I write down what the lesson is,
right.
why that happened. And
Exactly.
then,
What came
yeah,
about, from that, yeah, and what were the lessons, yeah,
yeah.
I love that.
And then coming from that appreciation space is how I start my day.
Mm. And I do something similar. I don't call it a gratitude journal. It's just like stream of consciousness. But after I
Oh,
do my Kundalini Kriya, I'll have my journal next to me and I write at least a page. And that allows me to, yeah, to tap into the previous day, be grateful and like see what lessons came of the day. Or if I feel kind of like funky, like there's just some energy that I have to like work through. It always helps to break through anything that I'm working through. Cause sometimes there's energy or there's a feeling and it's like, why do I feel like this? Like you wake up and you don't know why until you start writing. It's like somewhere in your subconscious, right?
Yes.
And then it's like that aha moment. It's like, oh, that's why, right? It's sometimes a trauma or something that triggered you from the past when you start making the connections.
Yeah, it's all
So
about learning about
yeah,
yourself. Yeah, I see it as a super intimate moment with yourself. That's the
exactly.
way I see it. Yeah.
So that's beautiful. So all these offerings, are they virtual or in person or both?
They are actually the ones that I have on my website are
Mhm.
virtual, but I have
Okay.
this brand new offering that I actually started last month. Actually, no, actually it's this month. It's just December. How it came about was a friend of mine came over to dinner, came over to my place for dinner. And then the next day she goes, Miauwling, I have a support group and I want to bring the support group to your house. You're going to facilitate a breath work, like healing session.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, okay. And mind you, I've been wanting to have a healing circle ever since 2018, but I couldn't get a consistent attendance to come since
Right.
2018. So then I said, okay, I'm just going to forget about it. This isn't it right now. And my friend does not know that this is what I've been trying. I've been wanting that.
And it
This
just
came in
landed in your lap.
and
Yeah.
it just landed. She said, "Give us something to sign up to." So I have it right now. It's a private link really for
Mm.
them, but I'm thinking of opening it up to everybody, whoever, wants to come, and it's a healing circle,
Oh,
right? If
that's
you have a
amazing.
support group, if anybody out there that have a
Mhm.
support group that wants to come on a monthly basis, they can come. My home is open for that. I didn't realize if I would like it or not. But after my first experience of having the support group here at my place, I just held a healing session. I actually love it because it has the right amount of intimacy
Yeah.
at my place. I don't know why I never thought about that before. Yeah, that was what happened. And then I got happy because I'm a double Virgo, like a Virgo sun and Virgo
Mhm.
moon. So because my moon is Virgo, I love to serve because that's when I feel the most fulfilled and happiest. So I was like, oh, it's my place. And then I have background music going on that was really soothing. My Palo
Wow.
Santo, my place. And I was like, tea will be served. So I like give everybody tea. I think the next time I'll just make chai. So it was like,
Yes.
what else? What kind of tea can I make? So it was like, I don't know, I really loved it, and when I looked at my vision board, one of the things that I wanna manifest is that well, one of the reason why I wanna move is that I wanna purchase a home where I can partially operate that as a bed and breakfast, inn.
Yes.
It's almost like a wellness sanctuary where I can actually hold healing circles, gratitude journaling, and it's
Mhm.
really my home. It's a business, and then maybe the other portion of it would be really my residential home.
Right.
And I don't have that yet, but I have this healing circle that is in my current home right now. So perhaps that's a start.
And it's to show people you can start what you're already envisioning right, exactly where you're at, even if you don't think you have the space, right?
Yeah.
We think that, "Oh, yeah, when I have the home, when I have that bigger space," but it just landed. Yeah,
It just
for
landed, and it was
yeah.
my friend who suggested, and she had no idea that I was envisioning this at all,
Mhm.
and I just realized, "Huh, it's so interesting how things just manifest. The universe really does pull things together for you, just don't know how it is, how it's gonna go. You just don't know how, you just have to foresee it. You just have to
Right.
see it and want it and know that it's for you, and also feel it. Feel like you have it, you can do this." And it will come. So that is my newest offering.
Yes, and for whoever's listening, where are you based in New York? So people could reach
I
out to you.
I'm in Bayside, Queens. So
Okay.
I live in Bayside, Queens. Anybody that's in New York that, can travel to Bayside, Queens, you're welcome to come to my home and then we'll have like a group healing circle.
Yes, and yeah, Miauwling is amazing, an amazing person to hang out with all day, especially it's all spiritual things related. So yeah, definitely reach out to her. And where can people reach you on Instagram? What's your website? I'm gonna have the links available, but what are they so people know what they are?
Yeah. So I have my website. My
Hmm.
website is just Miauwling my last name.com. And then I have Instagram also under my name, and I have a YouTube channel also under my name. And if anybody's on Facebook, you can friend me also under my name. So that's where you can find me on there. My services are actually on my website if you want to look at my services.
Okay, amazing. Well, thank you so much for being on today and for being on a second time. It's always a pleasure to talk to you and catch up. So, thank you so much. And remember, lineage goes beyond your ancestors. You are meant to connect to the cosmos so you may finally find your cosmic family. Until next time.
Bye bye.
Thank you for listening to Cosmic Roadmap. If you would like to book a session with me to explore your own cosmic roadmap and chart your next destination in business, love, and life, then head over to cosmicroadmap.com.